Look at the top of his head. Look at his lips.
I don't know if you're like me, but you peruse the normal news websites, and right now you're basically seeing terrible things or worse things, like endless Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift headlines, or Jada Pinkett Smith's multi-year humiliation tour of Will Smith. I don't understand why this woman keeps getting headlines. She seems awful. Also, I couldn't name a single thing this woman ever acted in. I know supposedly she's an actor or an actress, but I can definitely name, I don't know, about a dozen things I've seen Will Smith in. But it is getting so bad now that prominent black men are now speaking out, like practically begging her to stop humiliating him. The one person who seems to be endlessly saying nothing and taking it nonstop is Will Smith. Now, what I find really bizarre and interesting is, remember the big Oscars incident, the keep my wife's name out of your mouth thing? Well, it turns out that they haven't been married in years, something like 7 years. And it's all just it's just a lie. I don't even really understand. This is a guy who who's clearly emotionally tormented. You almost feel bad for him, but at some point, just like with any friend who's got a problem, an addiction problem or something of that nature, eventually they have to help themselves. Eventually, you've got to help yourself, dude. Like this is a woman that has now written a quote unquote memoir. A memoir of what? What have you done? I mean, I guess you could talk about how you destroyed a man's soul and how you're endlessly talking about how Tupac was really the guy. Then she went out there and she said she used to sell crack, anything to get into headlines. It's absolutely pathetic. And other prominent people in communities are basically begging this woman to stop. Look at what Stephen A. Smith had to say.
You want to mess with some dude that's your son's friend, as trifling as that may seem in people's eyes, that's your damn business.
Fair.
You want to break up with your husband and all of this stuff, that's your business. But this public emasculation needs to stop. Jada, all you're doing is elevating the level of vitriol coming your way, because it don't matter what you say. There's nothing you can say to a man to justify what you have done to Will Smith.
I mean, look, I'm not a big Stephen A. Smith fan in general, and in particular in his sports takes, but like, he's right. I mean, people have like, everything this woman does is pushing Will Smith down. Now, by now, I would have assumed that some sort of, like, let's say Will did something terrible and he deserved this. We would probably have known by now. But that's not actually the case. This is just a woman that is, I don't know who consumes this. I guess other women who hate men. I don't understand. And by the way, who is buying this chick's book? Like, who's buying a memoir from some whatever actress? I don't even understand.
Every time I see Jada Pinkett Smith talk about Will Smith, I cringe.
Me too.
We kings.
Yeah.
We kings. We ain't here to be treated like that. You're queens and you shouldn't be treated like that either. And I get that.
Good save.
Tell me anywhere, biblically, scripture-wise, in any scripture, where it encourages you to publicize your personal business for profit.
I mean, yeah, I would say, like, this is somebody who, like, Stephen A. Smith begs Jada Pinkett to stop humiliating Will Smith. Like, I feel bad for the guy, but at some point, the guy's got, like, the whole thing between him and Chris Rock now we know is fake. We knew that. I don't know what some publicist told him to do that. Whatever the case, they weren't even married and they hadn't been for almost 7 years. You know, I think that the whole weird thing, you know, none of it's true. Saying, first of all, I'm really shocked about the slap incident. I'm not there. We haven't called each other husband and wife in a long time. So she humiliates him. So he stands up for her on national television. The only thing I can probably really estimate this as is like he's still in love with her and she just isn't. That's why she's banging her son's friends and humiliating him. She writes, I'm not there, saying like, you know, we haven't called each other husband and wife in a long time. She was, quote, really worried for Will, who later won an Oscar that night for his role in King Richard. In a previous interview, Pinkett Smith said she hadn't spoken with Chris Rock since the incident, though she did say he came to her right after and tried to apologize. Chris came down at the end of the stage and tried to apologize to me, she recalled. He said, I didn't mean you any harm. I said, I can't talk about this now, Chris. This is some old stuff. She said that she did not realize that Smith had actually hit Rock until her publicist told her. Chris had left the building and he's not going to press charges. I would have. During Friday's interview, these kind of moments can do these things. We amplify our love, blah, 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 blah. Like, they haven't been together since 2016. Why is she still writing on his name then? Why is she still writing books about him? You get this. I mean, this woman might be the most evil woman imaginable. Far worse than Amber ever was. This is like, she said when Kopp asked if there would ever be a full reconciliation, Pinkett Smith joked that he's getting old, she added. Who's going to be there for him? Hoda? It's going to be me. What? I mean, I don't even understand it. Like, this woman is, I guess, like, people must, like, put this stuff out and they think that it's going to look better. I mean, remember the conversation? I don't know who watched her Red Table show or even where you could watch it, but imagine thinking it's a good idea to drag Will Smith on there and humiliate him in front of millions of people. It ended up being millions of people. It was probably tens of people that actually watched the show. So he returned to Instagram on Sunday with his first post since Jada Pinkett opened up about their marriage. The video shows Smith sleeping on a boat at sea surrounded by a variety of pinging sounds and ringtones. Fun fact about me, I can nap almost anywhere, a voiceover said before Smith woke up, sat up, and shook his head at the camera. Notifications off, he jokingly wrote in the caption. I mean, you know, I don't really understand. This woman is some sort of demon. I don't know that he needs to exercise. He's probably still in love with her and she's just in love with humiliating him. I don't know. I assume she has some sort of career. She should be able to make some amount of money, but she keeps whatever gets her in the headlines, right? So first she says, oh, we haven't been together since 2016. Then she's like, oh, well, we're still trying to figure it out. I mean, they were married in 1997, and she says that it was, you know, over pretty quick. You know, by 2016, it was over. So it's 2023, get divorced. You know, but then if she like, you know, you see Jada Pinkett Smith says she and Will Smith chose no prenup because, quote, divorce won't be necessary. Well, what is she just living off him then? She denies open marriage, says she and Will still figuring things out. What do you mean? I thought you said that your marriage was over and you haven't called each other husband and wife. This woman is just a nonstop liar. I mean, Jada Pinkett, and then she makes this story up like, oh, Jada Pinkett Smith claimed that she used to move crack rocks during her childhood, really helped her, quote, survive after being worried about her addict mother's life. She's just inventing this hard history or something like that. Again, I don't understand. Maybe it's like is this person like popular in the black community? and I'm just like have a blind spot for it. I just, who the hell cares what this woman has to say? It's just so sad that she's just destroying poor Will Smith. Like, she's like a succubus. Absolute. Like, I remember how she came out. She's like, "Oh, I'm living with a disability. I have alopecia. Oh my God, I have to buy a wig." This from a woman who's worth, I don't know, $100 million. Who can probably buy a new wig every day or whatever it is, or she has a tiny bald spot. I just, I don't know who keeps propping this woman up, but she is just awful. Awful in every conceivable way. Like, every time she wants to get back in the headlines, she talks about Tupac. I'm sure if Tupac was still alive, he wouldn't be anywhere near her. I can almost guarantee you. Or he would have, she would have made him like, she would have been like her Courtney Love to his Kurt Cobain type of thing. I don't get it. I'll never get it. But this woman seems just terrible. I hope you enjoyed this video, though. If you did, make sure you leave a like on it. If you haven't yet, subscribe down below, and we'll talk to you again real soon.